Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now November 4th of 2020, and ever since the very end of the Skywalker saga, a lot of fans around the world have been very intrigued about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney, Lucasfilm, of course Bob Iger and Bob Chapek working together as a team, and we also got George, John, and Dave really trying to deliver as much authentic Star Wars material as possible. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one great thing about Disney Star Wars is that they are now heading in a more positive direction for the franchise. At the very minimum, they are giving the Star Wars fans the chance to see exactly what Star Wars has to offer in the next couple of years without Kathleen Kennedy's input, without Kathleen Kennedy interrupting and intervening and making all these massive changes. So, when it comes down to Kathleen Kennedy, a lot of crazy things are happening behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm. A lot of changes are being made over at Lucasfilm for the Star Wars franchise. One would say for the better, some would say for the worse. And I think that we're still heading in a better direction than ever before because we've got George, John, and Dave at the end of the day handling a majority of these new Star Wars projects. Again, like I've said before in the past, I really do believe that they know what they're doing, they're very passionate, and when you have passionate creators that are passionate fans, that's when you get really good content coming out, whether it be on Disney Plus, or whether it be in the theaters for a new trilogy or new spin-off Star Wars movies and more. So, with that being said, what's really intriguing all has to do with Kathleen Kennedy and exactly what's going on with her at one of the projects that are actually falling apart. Now, what's really intriguing about all of this is that it will also involve George Lucas and Bob Chapek. Now, specifically, with the Skywalker saga now over, alright, both Disney and Lucasfilm are now focused on their new Star Wars universe as well as the new Star Wars trilogy of movies that are set to actually give fans a brand new mythology of the franchise. It's explained that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are indeed developing multiple plans in order to reunite the Star Wars fandom. Now further, it's described that Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is described to be very sorry and has deep regrets over what she did with director Rian Johnson of The Last Jedi and how she allowed him to do exactly what he pleased in that movie, as it led to her actually losing her creative power with the Star Wars fans and over at Lucasfilm, and also since it led her into a very terrible situation in which she has lost her creative power in general. So that's one thing, alright? Now further, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy is having many problems accepting the fact that she had lost her power over at Lucasfilm, of course, over many of the existing Star Wars projects currently in the works. However, it's described that by contract, Kathleen Kennedy was technically still allowed to actually let one of her projects still exist. One of the major projects for Disney Plus, which was originally her second TV series that she was working on. Let me stop right here for a second. You guys may recall that Kathleen Kennedy some time ago, she was fired from a TV show and that George, John, and Dave were going to take it over. Well, Kathleen Kennedy recently just canceled this particular TV series to prevent George, John, and Dave taking over that actual series. So this series was described to focus on the Worlds Between Worlds and Brie Larson's character named Maeve. Kathleen Kennedy recently approved to cancel that Star Wars TV show so that it never sees the light of day in order for her to do some damage control as of right now. Once again, I wouldn't necessarily see this as Kathleen Kennedy turning in a sense to where she's trying to develop better material. This is more so her trying to cover up her own actions and preventing other creators from touching her property, essentially. That's what it comes off as. As far as her feeling very sorry and feeling very having a lot of remorse over what happened with The Last Jedi and director Rian Johnson, obviously this is all self-centered. This is all only because she lost her creative power over at Lucasfilm. This is all only because she had a lot of issues behind the scenes with many of the creators for also, the Rise of Skywalker. One thing led to another. Her problems with The Last Jedi caused problems with Episode 9. Moving on. So, with that being said, moving further, it's noted that Kathleen Kennedy, canceled the series and gave the go-ahead to both Bob Chapek and George Lucas in order to preserve her legacy since even Kathleen Kennedy knew that this series was going to fail even before it got developed. It's described that Kennedy only did this for herself and not necessarily for the Star Wars fandom, and was very much in a state of remorse over her actions within the Star Wars franchise. Now, it's explained that Kennedy canceling what was going to be her second Star Wars TV show is now going to be completely new and changed as a TV show that will be created by George, John, and Dave in order to develop a better future for the brand. So let's stop right there for a second, is that this TV show is now going to be something completely new, something that has nothing to do with what Kathleen Kennedy had originally planned. George, John, and Dave are taking over that slot. Essentially, that's what they're doing. They're taking over that time slot to throw in a new TV show that's completely something on its own, that's going to be created by those three great guys. And I think that, when we look at everything related with Kathleen Kennedy and everything of what she was pushing within the Star Wars universe, it obviously was not going in the right direction. We already know that she got fired from that project, and now she has finally canceled that project. It is no more, it's actually completely off the table, off the roadmap of Star Wars. I think that we can all have, a lot of, satisfaction over this. The fact that we are not going to actually see this. We're not going to see an entire TV series that seemed very meaningless, that George, John, and Dave were going to be forced to essentially pick up on and kind of regulate it. So, beyond all of that, the series was described to be in the form of animation in a lifelike style for the fans to witness. The strategy by Kathleen Kennedy officially now only leaves her with the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series permanently, and that she also has no control over the ending episodes of The Leslie Show after she broke regulations from George Lucas and Disney CEO Bob Chapek as well. It's described that Kathleen Kennedy also did this in order to focus more so on the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series and to make sure that she is giving the show her all in order to make it successful. Now, once again, let's pause right here. This is also her way to focus more so on the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV series. Now, obviously, she needs all the time that she can get to really make that show the best that it can be. Obviously, a lot of fans out there know that this show is going to be a very much, similar situation to The Last Jedi, if not worse. Because they're just throwing in identity politics, personal agendas, they're not paying attention to Star Wars fans. In fact, they are going to destroy George Lucas's legacy in this new show. So that's one thing. The other thing is that Kathleen Kennedy also is going to shift away from the traditions of Star Wars in this Leslie TV series. So that's also not another good thing. Basically, what that new show is going to be like, it's going to be like a new science fiction TV series with a Star Wars label thrown on top of it. And I think that that's a real dangerous situation. Do I think it's going to wreck the path or the, I guess you could say, goal of the new Star Wars universe? I don't think so. I think it's just going to leave a bad taste in people's mouths about Kathleen Kennedy even more so. So, moving past this also, this is described, this is where it gets crazy, this is described to be her own plan to put all her energy into the Leslie Show so that she can make the right decisions without having to focus on her other project that she was recently fired from and was going to give it up to George, John, and Dave. Kennedy also canceled the project since she did not want Lucas or Chapek to take control of the series and decided to cancel it, since by contract she was actually the one who initiated and came up with the concept. She was able to cancel this massive project for Disney Plus, and now George, John, and Dave will be making completely new changes or a completely new show in the process at that. Once again, guys, very happy about this. I think it's a good move. I'm not celebrating the fact that Kathleen Kennedy canceled it. I'm just celebrating the fact that it's actually gone. This show is just wiped off the table. I don't think that this changes Kathleen Kennedy's attitude. I don't think that she's kind of leaning more so toward what the fans want to see. This is just her covering up and doing damage control 100%. So, I think that Star Wars is shaping up. It's really evolving. Things are looking fantastic, and I cannot wait to see what it's going to look like in the next couple of years. So with that being said, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.